Hello friends, I am Dr. Madhukar Jadhav. In previous lecture, we have studied regarding various types of levels. In that, auto level we have seen, then digital level we have seen, and lastly the lesser level we have seen. In this lecture, we are going to study regarding permanent adjustment of dumpy level. In that, two methods are there, first method and second method. So we will discuss these one by one. So which permanent adjustments are required in dumpy level? So that is very important. So two levels are very much important as far as dumpy level is concerned. First one, the axis of bubble tube should be perpendicular to the vertical axis. So whatever the bubble tube axis is there, it should be vertical, it should be perpendicular to vertical axis. And the second adjustment is the line of collimation should be parallel to the axis of bubble tube. Means when the instrument is in perfect level, these two adjustments should be satisfied by that dumpy level, or we can say by that leveling instrument. So first of all, we will discuss regarding the first adjustment to make the axis of bubble tube perpendicular to vertical axis. The objective of this adjustment is to ensure that if the instrument is once leveled up, the bubble should remain in the center of its run for all position of the telescope. Means if we have rotated the telescope through 360 degree, it should remain in the center of its run. Next slide. Necessity: if the adjustment is present in that instrument, then it is convenient for taking the reading quickly. Now procedure for the testing of this adjustment. First one, set up the level on firm ground and level it carefully by trapod legs first and then by foot screws. In that, keep the telescope parallel to any pair of the foot screw and turn the foot screws inward or outward till bubble comes in the center. So in this, we have to keep the telescope parallel to any pair of the foot screw, and with the same speed we have to rotate that telescope either inward or outward, and we have to bring the bubble in the center. Next one, keep the telescope perpendicular to the previous pair of the foot screw and turn the third foot screw again inward or outward till bubble will be at its center position. Third step is, next, bring the telescope over a pair of foot screw or over the third foot screw and turn it through 180 degree in horizontal plane. If the bubble still remains in the central position, the adjustment is correct one. And if it not remains, then we have to go for the adjustment. Next slide. Procedure for adjustment. If the bubble does not remain in the center, we have to note down for how many we can say divisions the bubble is not in the center, and say n division it is away from the central position. So second step, half the error, that is 2n is the total error, half means n divisions can be corrected by raising or lowering the bubble tube by means of capstan headed nut. So we have to lose that nut, and either we have to lower the bubble tube or we have to raise the bubble tube, and half divisions we have to bring by this technique. Then third step, and the remaining half error can be corrected with a pair of foot screws beneath the telescope at its present position. So halfway by raising or lowering and halfway by the help of foot screw. Fourth step, turn the telescope through 90 degree so that the telescope lies over the single foot screw below the telescope or parallel to the pair of foot screws, and bring the bubble in the center of its run by means of this foot screw. Fifth step, rotate the telescope and see if the bubble remains center for all position of the telescope. If not, repeat the whole process until the adjustment is correct. So in this way, whatever the number of divisions bubble deviates from its center position, we have to bring it center, and we have to repeat the process till bubble remains in the center. Next slide. Second adjustment, this is also known as two-peg test method, and this adjustment is done for making the line of collimation parallel to the axis of bubble tube. Procedure for this is drive two pegs A and B at a distance of d meter, say 60 to 100 meter apart. So this is peg A and this is peg B. So we have to drive two pegs, at one at A and other at B, and the distance should be approximately 60 to 100 meter. After that, drive another peg O exactly midway between A and B. So this is the third peg which is midway between A and B. Then second step, set up and level the instrument at O. So here we have to set up the instrument and level it properly, and take the stop reading on staff held at point A and staff held at point B. The bubble must be in the center of its run while taking the readings. Let stop reading on A and B be the small a and small b respectively. So what we have to do first, we have to set the instrument at point A, level it properly, and by stop kept at point A and at point B, we have to take the stop reading, and that are small a and small b respectively. Next slide. Third step, then shift the level and set it at O1. So this is O1, d meter away from A, and along the same line BA produced. Level the instrument at O1 accurately, and again take the stop readings on the stop held at point A and held at point B. And suppose these readings are small a1 and small b1 respectively. So we have taken the two sets of readings, one from O and other from O1. Fourth step, find the difference between the stop readings A and B and that between the stop reading A1 and B1. The difference of stop reading A and B gives the true difference in elevation between A and B, as instrument was set up exactly midway between A and B, because when the instrument is at A, if there is an inclination of line of sight, then it will be same for point A and for point B, and that's why by subtracting A and B we will get the true difference of level between A and B, whereas the difference between A1 and B1 gives the apparent difference, and we have to check whether the two differences are correct or not. If the two differences are equal, then we can say that line of collimation is in adjustment, means there is no error in line of collimation. Otherwise it is inclined and it needs adjustment. Okay, next slide. So if the line of collimation is inclined, then we have to go for adjustment. For adjustment, the various steps are: first one, find out whether the difference is rise or fall from the peg A to B. Means by subtracting the reading we have to find out whether the difference is rise or fall from A to B, and that can be understood if A is greater than B. If reading A is greater than B, then peg A is at lower elevation than B and the ground is rising from A to B upward. If B is greater than A, the ground is falling from A to B. So by comparing the readings at A and B, we can say there is a rise or there is a fall. Next step, find the reading on the far peg B. Find out the reading on the far peg B at the same level R of A1 by adding the true difference to reading A1. If it is fall, or by subtracting the true difference from A1 if it is a rise. Means what we have to do, we have to find out the reading on the far peg B, and how to find that? We have to add the difference if reading A1 we have to add the two difference to reading A1 if there is a fall, and we have to subtract if there is a rise, we can say, to A1, and then let that reading be B2. So B2 is equal to A1 plus true difference, and accordingly we have to add the sign, plus sign if fall is there and minus sign if there is a rise. Then finally we have to compare. If a B1 is greater than B2, the line of collimation is inclined upward, and if B1 is smaller than B2, the line of collimation is inclined downward. That is B1 minus B2 difference we have to find out, and this is nothing but the collimation error in the total distance of capital D. And then the total collimation error for unit distance is equal to B1 minus B2 divided by the distance between A and B, that is capital D. Okay, next slide. Fourth step, the correction to be applied for reading on the peg A and B may be calculated as under. Correction to the stop reading on near peg A, say Cn is equal to smaller distance divided by total distance into bracket B1 minus B2. How correction is calculated for the near peg reading? Cn is equal to distance, smaller distance divided by larger distance into bracket B1 minus B2 readings, and correction for the peg B is equal to correction to the reading on the peg for peg B is equal to, say Cf is equal to D plus capital D, that is small d plus capital D divided by capital D into bracket B1 minus B2. So these corrections are additive if the line of collimation is inclined downward, means whatever the Cn and Cf we have calculated may be additive, or we have to add if the line of collimation is inclined downward, and we have to subtract the corrections if the line of collimation is inclined upward. Why we have to do this like this? Line of collimation is inclined upward means we are getting the more reading, that's why we have to subtract the correction, and line of collimation is inclined downward means we are getting lesser reading, that's why we have to add the corrections Cn and Cf to the observed reading. Hence the correct stop reading on the near peg A is equal to A1 plus or minus Cn, and correct stop reading on the far peg B is equal to B1 plus or minus Cf. So in this way this permanent adjustment is very much important. We have seen the permanent adjustment 1 and permanent adjustment 2, and from this we can find out the correct reading if the line of collimation is not in adjustment. So this is all about the today's lecture. Thank you.